Hi everyone. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about finding a counter argument article. So you can see that I have pulled up here our reading 4. It's listed here in the class, reading 4, many colleges fail to improve critical thinking skills. This is the article that you're going to be evaluating in your Unit 4 essay. This is the one you're really going to be focusing on. In order to do that, you do want to look and see what other counterpoints and counter arguments exist to the claim in this article. So that's where finding reading 5 on the databases comes in. So for this assignment, you will need to focus on many colleges fail to improve critical thinking skills, and you'll also need to find an article that contains some counter argument to this article so that you can compare them to see which is more effective, because you're evaluating the effectiveness of this article, many colleges fail to improve critical thinking skills. So one of the things that I'm going to recommend that you do first, as I list in the announcement, is figure out the claim of many colleges fail to improve critical thinking skills, because it's going to be hard for you to come up with the counter argument, which is something that speaks back in opposition to the claims of the article, if you don't know what the claims are. The title is pretty helpful here. That's what I would call the main claim. I'm going to list a couple other claims in the article because I think it's going to be helpful and you can brainstorm your own. You're looking for things that the article is putting forth, the arguments that it's making. A lack of critical thinking skills is a problem for employers. And this one I think is implied but important. And the reason that I'm doing this, that I'm listing some of the things that I think are part of the article, is because then I can come up with places to look for counter arguments and possibly keywords. So if I'm thinking about these claims, so what are some counter arguments? Colleges are teaching critical thinking skills, are making improvements towards teaching critical thinking skills. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to come up with counter arguments that speak to these claims, because doing so is going to help me in the task of trying to find articles that say these things, because I'm looking for keywords. So what I've done here with these ideas is I've come up with some things that might be possible counter arguments to these claims. So you can see that, like, if somebody were arguing colleges need to reform in order to teach critical thinking skills, somebody might come back and say, like, but why? If this isn't working, if this expensive 4-year model clearly isn't teaching people to be better thinkers, maybe we need to scrap the whole model. Maybe we need to do something different. Maybe we need to not require students to go to college in order to get degrees. A response to the idea that lack of critical thinking skills is a problem for employers might stem from the idea that employers are complaining that people that they employ straight from college aren't coming in completely job ready. And that seems like maybe an unfair expectation. To a certain degree, employers should probably have to teach and expect to teach their new employees about certain things that they need specifically for their jobs. So these are some things that are helpful, I think, when we're looking for counter arguments, because then from this list of counter arguments, I'm going to make a list of keywords. So I'm going to use keywords like and you can see that what I'm doing here is coming up with all these different things that I could potentially put into one of the possible search engines, one of the possible databases to come up with an article that could work. So these are some keywords that I'm going to start with. You don't have to turn this document in. Nobody's ever going to see this document of mine. I just made this to keep me on track because this is going to be a big, difficult task on your part. Finding some kind of article in the wild on these databases that contains a counter argument to one of the claims in our article, many colleges fail to teach critical thinking skills. So the databases you can use, you can really try out any you like, but the three that we tend to use the most are SIRS, as you can see, because our article's from SIRS, EBSCOhost, and Credo. I'm going to tell you that I already didn't have a lot of luck on Credo, but you are more than welcome to investigate it if you want. I had the most luck so far on SIRS. So I'm going to show you one of the things that I did that's like a nice shortcut when you're looking for counter arguments in your research process, is that a lot of times when you go into SIRS, you can see that there's the home page and there's also this lovely leading issues page. So if you click on this, it'll pull it up. And these are all topics that are popular for research. So I'm going to scroll around and see if any have to do with my topic. There's college tuition. Let's see. Is there anything in here that might be helpful? Should tuition at public colleges and universities be free for everyone? This seems a little far off the mark. So no, I'm not going to choose that one quite yet. I'm looking. I know I saw something earlier. You can see there's here we go. So there is just one section that's a general college education. Okay, so there is this question right here that says, is a college education worth the cost for all students? This seems like it might be a little bit tangentially related. You might think like, but what does this have to do with the article? Well, if the point of our article is to talk about the fact that colleges, which people pay a lot of money for, are failing to teach critical thinking, and employers are complaining that they can't get any employees who are good critical thinkers, it does beg the question, is college education worth the cost for all students if you go through 4 years of education and employers are still not satisfied with what you've learned? So anytime you look in these leading issues, the thing that's really nice is that there's often a central question that's asked and a couple different viewpoints with article links to them. Viewpoint 1, a college education provides better career opportunities. Viewpoint 2, a college degree does not guarantee employment, and many college graduates are burdened by student loan debt. This viewpoint sounds like it would probably agree more with our article. So since we're looking for a counter argument, we're going to look over here at viewpoint 1. So if the claim is that really many colleges are not teaching critical thinking, and that's something employers want to say, A counter argument to that might be like, okay, but a college education provides better career opportunities, because there's a disconnect between those two ideas. One article is saying employers are not happy with students' college education, and this argument is saying a college education provides better career opportunities. So these are some options that we can look into. And this is the one that I've pulled up here. Will that college degree pay off? Because I think that this would be a good article to use as your counter argument article. So if you're watching this video and you want to find this article again, it's on SIRS. It is written by Anne Carnes, because there are some ideas in here that I think would help you, because it does contain elements of a counter argument. When we are trying to find an counter argument, sometimes we're going to have to be like creative in figuring out exactly where the relationship between our original article and the article that we're looking for, that somehow contradicts or offers an opposing view. Another thing that, another article that I found on EBSCOhost, I think this is it, is again, I used that search term college degree value, and I have all my stuff in there. You know, I have like, I changed my parameters so that it's from recently. I think this is from, yeah, this is from 2021. I made sure that I can actually look at the full text of the article, and it is from a peer-reviewed journal, Journal of Higher Education Policy and Management. And when I read this, okay, so it is a little bit, it's about Australia, so that could be better. So this is an article that, if we look at the abstract, looks like maybe it could tangentially relate. But now that I think about it, perhaps Australia is not the most helpful, because we are talking about a problem that is unique to the United States. So this is definitely not an easy task. I can try searching again, college degree value. I'm going to look at some of my other key terms. You're definitely going to have to sift around. So actually, let's try this one. I don't think I tried this key term yet. Let's see what we got. And you can see, as usual, I'm going to have to do some sifting through this stuff to see. Let's see what this is. Oh, this is helpful. So as we're doing this, this searching, maybe soft skills is another term that we want to use, because that's something that employers are going to use. This seems like it agrees. But maybe I want to go back here and I'll try out employer. Maybe we can try out soft skills. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm adjusting and I'm looking and I'm searching. This is going to take some critical thinking. You are going to have to do something like this first to identify some of the claims in the article before you can find an article that has a counter argument. I'm expecting you all to use your critical thinking and not just bring back articles that completely agree with our primary article, because we're not looking for articles that agree. We are looking for articles in the counter argument portion. And as we're searching for this reading number 5, we are looking for articles that somehow disagree with the claims that many colleges fail to teach critical thinking skills. And it may mean that we need to get creative and find an article that basically says, well, really, colleges shouldn't be responsible. Employers need to be responsible for teaching some of those skills. Because that's just the nature of jobs. We're looking for articles that have some kind of response to some of the claims. So we need to identify the claims, we need to identify some of the counter arguments, and then we need to search and search and search for articles that offer up some of these counter arguments. And that's basically the task that I'm going to give you. And I want everybody to practice this. I know that it's hard because I have been searching, and I thought that article I just showed you was good, but I realized it was from Australia, and that's the process. That's why we're evaluating. I will say that if you are stuck, I think this would be a good article. Will that college degree pay off is one that you can use.